If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you are missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast, episode 431 of Picks and Ponies. I am your host, Howard Kravitz. Thanks for joining us tonight as it is time for Keeneland. Once again, they have a fantastic late pick 5 on Saturday, and there's increased interest because a lot of people I know are playing in a big live money contest, which qualifies for the BCBC, the NHC, the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching and listening. And whether you're playing in the contest this Saturday or not, which you can check out on Twin Spires, ExpressBet, and many other locations, whether you're interested in that contest or not, this late pick 5 is outstanding. With the feature race, the Grade 1 QE2, $800,000 on the line, the traditional second weekend big race of the fall meet. It's for the 3-year-old girls on the turf. Thanks for joining us tonight. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right, and smash that like button below the video player. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. You can follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod. A fantastic tip sheet. Look below the video player for information about our Power Picks tip sheet, and very soon on our great website, hhhracingpodcast.com. Excuse me, I'm all choked up. I'm excited. You can find out next week about our Breeders' Cup package. It's very cheap. It's very profitable. It is almost 20 pages of handicapping information for the Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday. Information will come out next week. Starting next week, you can purchase our Breeders' Cup package. You do not want to miss it. Last year, we had literally hundreds of people buy that package. You should check it out. And again, we've got a great website, as I said, hhhracingpodcast.com. All right, let me bring on my solo co-host for tonight. And there's a good reason, because our other co-host, who will be on screen at some point with a special guest, I believe, he is already in Lexington, but this gentleman is at his home in the East Coast of Maryland. Let's bring him on, Mr. Pete Visco. Pete, how you doing tonight?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing all right. 2 nights in a row. I enjoy being with you for 2 nights in a row. Great race place last night with Jack's Muniz. Go ahead and check out that show for it's a nice card at Santa Anita. Tonight we're talking Keeneland, Pete, for the second weekend in a row. And our good friend and co-host Paul Halloran is already in Lexington right now. He's with the Dorman family. I got to tell you, Pete, I'm very excited. I was there last weekend. I'm going to be there again this weekend. I'll be there late Friday night and then at the races Saturday and Sunday. But of course, Saturday morning is the Cody Dorman Monument ceremony that is going up at the Kentucky Horse Park. We'll take some pictures, we'll maybe get some video. It's going to be very touching. It's very cool. And I'm so proud, Pete, that the HHH Racing Podcast stepped up big time. I don't know if you saw the plaque that I put out on X, but we raised more money than Keeneland and Churchill Downs. Are you kidding me?
That's fantastic.
Man, unbelievable. Our viewers and listeners are really generous. We appreciate their donations to the monument and the ceremonies this Saturday morning.
Yeah, definitely. That was impressive, and we thank everybody for participating and giving and making it a sort of a family donation, which is very exciting. And actually, on our website, under the sort of Cody's Wish, Cody Dorman page, there's all the stuff that we've done with them over the years, whether it's podcasts, articles, the plaque, a picture, links to donate to. I forget what's on there. Links to donate to the foundation, links to donate. So all the stuff that we've done with them is sort of on one page, just in case somebody wants to revisit it, especially this weekend.
Yeah, people should check that out. The donation company is, I think, Angels with Wings, I believe, or Angels Without
there's
Wings?
A link on there. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
blanking on the name because my memory stinks. But everything is on there, memorialized, so we don't have to remember stuff so much.
Yeah, it's not too late to donate. So anyway, excited about and then the contest, of course, this Saturday. Let's see. Tom's here. Let's talk horses from the Bay Area. Mike Carmoli, last parent-teacher conference just ended. I'm ready to roll. Mike, I've got mine in 2 weeks. I know how you feel, my friend. Congratulations on getting to your parent-teacher conferences. Sometimes they can be enjoyable. Sometimes, depends on your parents. Mark Bogaz, what's up? Mark, nice to see you. Katie is here. Says hello to Pete. Robert Rivesnew, QE2, the best turf race in the U.S. for 3-year-olds. Ooh, always my favorite. Hard to argue that. It is always very good. This one is for the girls. Sylvain is here, ripping on the Yankees, but hey, that's okay. He's proud of his Jays. So is Marco Lou. Hopefully my Cubs will make it 2-2 tonight and tie it up that series, which will be on after the show. Of course, we can't conflict with this show. I had to plan that out. But anyway, Pete, a lot of people listening and watching. All right, let's jump in. And like I said, Paul Halloran and special guest, supposedly Pete will be on the show for just a very brief time, apparently from a restaurant, I believe.
Always.
Say hello.
With a couple cocktails, I imagine, like always, hopefully.
Could very well be. And by the way, as we're filming this Thursday night, there is a big Pick Six carryover tomorrow at Keeneland, over $100,000. Pick Six carryover this Friday. Obviously, we're not going to handicap it, but for people that are interested, it is a $1 base bet. So there's also
there's a coast
Sunset
to coast,
Six.
right? Or Suns? Which
there's
one?
Coast
to
there's
coast. Is it both?
Sunset Six carryover, Coast to Coast carryover. I mean,
they covered on Pacific
crazy.
Horse Players. They covered the Coast to Coast one, right? If I'm remembering correctly. Yep.
Yeah, if you want Coast to Coast Pick Six information, go to Pacific Horse Players if you want to play on Friday. All right, let's jump in right now, Pete. Ready to rock and roll. We're covering the Pick Five, late Pick Five this Saturday. I thought it was very difficult. I wrote down.
Yeah.
So usually I write down on my my little my notebook here. I write down like the difficulty of the race in my own words. Of the 5 races, I wrote 3 of them either spread / very tough / impossible. I have for one race. I'm curious.
I have a few of those. Yeah.
I wonder if you're going to figure out which of the 5 races we're talking about. I have it listed as impossible.
Well, I do it. So I do the ABC, and when I look, and I'm like, oh, I have a lot of A's after the first pass.
Yep.
That usually means it's a spready, tough one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard. It starts in race 6, 3:40 Eastern. This is an allowance optional $100,000 claimer, 6.5 furlongs for filly and mares. It is on the dirt. It's a field of 9. The morning line favorite is the number 8, Hilarito, for David Jacobson and Tyler Gaffleone. I believe David Jacobson won a race today, if I recall. Let's see where we're going here to kick off the late Pick 5. And wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well, maybe this race isn't too difficult. We're both going 5-8-3. At least we're making it look not that difficult, but no race is easy at Keeneland. We're both going to try for a little minor upset with the number 5, One Magic Filly, for Brendan Walsh and Flavian. Talk about this horse, Pete.
Well, it's funny. It's funny we came up the same picks, because when I looked at this one, I looked at the first 3 horses and they're all prices, and I was like, man, I could make a case for these. I think I might be able to come up with a long shot there. And then I got to the second half of the field and I was like, actually, I like these other horses better. I like more of the favorites. But yeah, One Magic Filly, I mean, I think just on paper, there's some obvious things to like just from a class standpoint. I mean, you look at some of the names just on the sheet there. You see Zeitlos, Kopi, and Soul of an Angel in the Breeders' Cup, Sweet Azteca. I mean, just knocking heads with some really big-time horses and not faring terribly. I mean, not winning any of those races. Hasn't won since the Chillingsworth back in October, but still there and competitive and in the mix. Now moves to Brendan Walsh, who's been on fire. Picks up Pratt again. I just think this is one that, from a class perspective, and I think probably if can get like a nice stalking trip a little bit closer, I think could get the right trip here, as long as not maybe too far back, because I don't think there's a ton of pace in here. But I think this one, just from a class standpoint, is finally getting to a spot where maybe she's just better than them for once, instead of being sort of the underdog. Even when she was the favorite in those races. I mean, look, she was the favorite in the La Brea against Copian back then. So she was well thought of and big time, and she hasn't been able to make that step up at that level, but this is a much softer field.
Pete, I have her on top 2 for all the reasons you said. And I love the turn back. My only concern here is maybe she's just a California horse. I mean, last year she was really good in California. Then Brendan, rightly so, shipped her to Pimlico. Okay, that track can be a little bit weird, but she regressed in the Beyer Fig. She didn't run great at Los Al. Again, that could be a little bit of a tricky track, and I know it's a grade 2, but again, not a great buyer. And then they went to a restricted race and still couldn't win that. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But Brendan Walsh takes over, and you know what, Pete? It looks like the horse had a little bit of time to acclimate to Kentucky, and I do like I want to say local work, the work at Churchill. So last week, so you would assume that Brendan's had this filly for several weeks now, has been in Kentucky for a while, and has been able to settle in. But she's never run at Keeneland. There's definitely some question here.
Yeah.
If she can run back to last year's races, she should be the favorite. But she has yet to do that this year.
No, I agree, and I think that's probably why you're getting the 3-1, is because there are some question marks. But I think if the horse can put it all together, and sometimes it just takes being amongst a level that fits your ability a little bit better, sort of like a confidence builder too, like any, in any sport where you get a little confidence, and maybe just getting beat by horses that maybe they thought she was as good as, but really she wasn't. And now she's amongst ones where maybe she might be better than them.
Well, this is the easiest field. I think we
in a
can
long time. Yeah.
The Tranquility Lake last time. This is the easiest field she's been in for a while. Now she's got a horse that could be very tough here, and it's probably gonna be on the lead. And we know how dangerous David Jacobson can be, although he's had this filly or this mare now for 3 starts already. Hilarito is fast, Pete. Fast early, 124 on the time form. And one last time, like a good thing, does have to. This is 6.5, right? I believe.
Yes, it is 6.5.
Does have to stretch out to 6.5, and has never been that far. But look, if you're on the lead by X amount, maybe it won't matter. There is not a ton of other speed in this race, I don't believe. I'm trying to look at
No, if the time form, I think she's pretty loose, and that would be the concern.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the concern.
When we see this, we end up getting a little cheeky with our top pick, because when we see, we see favorites front runners, and it's the favorite that is in the lead. She might be hard to run down. One Magic Filly is going to have to be probably a little bit closer to win this race. But the Hilarito could be tough. And I think we're looking at 7-5, not 9-5, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, 5 for 6 off those last 3, and they've been pretty dominant performances. Now, again, the class level wasn't great, but she's been beating them like a horse who's much better than the fields she's been facing. So again, if you just get a horse like this with a clear lead, and a horse like ours is maybe a little bit too far back and has too much work to do, that's problematic. And I think that's why you're getting the 9-5, a little bit of, hey, the 5 doesn't tower over the field in any way, figures wise or anything, but even though from a class perspective maybe does, but this one just has such a pace advantage that it's really going to be hard. Like, she's going to have to attack her, right? You figure like the top of the lane, she's going to have to be on her, I think, or somebody's going to have to be. Maybe not her, but somebody's going to have to be, I think, for us to win, right? You would think.
Well, the only ones that could be that is Marmalade Sky. According to time form, I don't really see that happening, because that's the other Jacobson, Pete. So it's not going to be Marmalade Sky. And then
the 7's got a little shot, I think.
Easy Red, maybe.
A little bit.
Size is always aggressive, and it's second out for this year for Keneally. So I could see Easy Red perhaps being up there, but I don't know. We're going to see. The other horse that we have is the Zadorsky, who's a nice horse, Pete. But again, this is a horse that's more mid-pack. And, in hindsight, as I look at this, that's why I love talking with you and Paul, and because it makes me think as I'm going along, maybe I should have put the 7 in third, because the 7 is going to be closest in touch with the 8. What I don't like about the 7, though, is the 7 breaks inside of the 8, and that's going to be a dicey proposition in general. But I suppose the 7 does have a right to improve. So I don't know. The 3 and 7 to me probably in the mix there for third. But Zadorsky, just nice horse, not the best situation.
No, I think it's going to be tough, especially again with the pace. But I think at least this one's improving, and I think you get a decent price, because that last race, look at that last one against Dynamic Pricing, Rakia. That was a pretty solid field. I mean, again, she didn't embarrass herself going to a stakes race on turf in her first turf touting. That's a tough ask right there. Now she's cutting back a bit. The one thing I like about her, at least she's shown she could close and win races. Now, she probably has to step up a little bit, but I like the fact that she just, she's tasted the winner's circle, come from behind. But again, she's probably going to be a little too far back if that 8 just gets away, and then you're just sort of running for second, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be some combination of 5 and 8, but it's hard to say. We'll see, Pete. Let's go on to race 7 right now as I switch some banners. This race I have written down very tough. That's what
I
I've
have a lot of A's in this one as well, unfortunately.
It's an allowance race on the turf. They're on a mile and 3:16, so they start at the top of the stretch basically. It's a big field of 12. There's an A, number 13, a Zoe. Will most likely not get in unless there's a scratch. The morning line favorite is 4-1, Pete. There's a 4-1, 9-2, 5-1, 6-1. Wow. I mean, this is a challenge. And the morning line favorite,
favorites Pete, never touch the turf.
Exactly. It's never been on grass. I mean, it is Pletcher. It is Pletcher. It is Flavian. It's Valentinian, 4-1. But like Pete just said, has never been on turf. So let's see what we're going to do.
And is a 3-year-old against elders also, which
that one too.
Yeah,
a lot of possible negatives. I'm going to look at this.
Unbelievable.
Two tough races. Field, we find the same horse. I'm going 6. Toss the 6 for sure, everyone. Yeah. I'm going 6-9-8. Pete is going 6-5-3. We're definitely different underneath. We're both going to go with the Cox Irad Ortiz combo at 5-1 morning line. Chapman's Peak. I thought he did it well last time, Pete, but this is a step up in class.
Yeah, it is. A couple things I like though is that one was, it was second out as a 3-year-old. And again, just talked about the other one being a 3-year-old. This was second out as a 3-year-old. It was, the last one was second time Lasix, picking up Irad. Now we get Irad again. He was back on the turf because the first start of the year after a long layoff got rained off the turf. And he still ran pretty well from a pretty tough trip, a little bit too far back, first time on the dirt, then comes back. And I thought was pretty impressive breaking the maiden. And the fact that this is one where, 3-year-old who only has 4 starts. So you have to assume there's some upside there still. And I think the pace is there. I'm sure we'll show the time form at some point. I think there's pace there. So I think this one will have some pace to close into. And I had a pretty good stat. Brad Cox, no surprise when you say a good stat about him. 36% wins, 82% in the money, maiden winners last out in allowance races on turf in a little less than the past year. So he's been hot sort of making this move. Again, it's a tough ask when you have a young sort of inexperienced 3-year-old coming from a maiden ranks. But, we're getting a half decent price here. And I think this one maybe is just on the upswing.
I agree with all that. Beat Blast Furnace, who came back and won. I think, was it yesterday?
Was it yesterday?
Came back soon. You can check that out.
Yeah, look.
The Chapman's Peak is the 10.
It was.
Perfect timing. Made this relatively early move. Is right here in the blue silks. And, when the 12 came up to him, Pete, the 12 was wide, by the way, in this race. But when the 12 came up, I'll tell you what, I love the fight here.
Yeah.
He fought back. You'd see he had a little bit of a lead switch issue. He's on the wrong lead right here if you look carefully. But he does switch back, I think, late here. Sort of re-kicks back in. I really like that re-break right there, Pete.
I do too.
That shows a lot of gameness, kick back. And we know how difficult Kentucky Downs can be with that circumference. So there's a lot to like here. He's going to have to step up, but distance, no problem. He checks all the boxes. Now, he is 3. But you know what, Pete? We are getting into mid-October. And look, these 3-year-olds, they're 3-year-olds in general at the beginning of the year, they're in middle school. The end of the year, they're late high school, early college age, basically, into the human. And, of course, they all have their own cycles. Some are bigger and better than others. So although this horse is facing older, I think I'm not as concerned because there are a bunch of other
connections are half decent too. Godolphin, Cox, Irad. I mean, they usually know how to get a horse ready. That combination, I think
they do. We can't talk about every horse in this race, so just very briefly, I thought Right Off Jerry, the 9, is a little interesting here. I like the blinkers on angle. That last race is a complete toss. If you toss out the last race, I thought Right Off Jerry fits.
I thought if you, and we don't have to show the replay because it's useless, but I just thought it never looked he never looked comfortable. And we know that sometimes Kentucky Downs horses just don't like it. And this horse ran twice at Kentucky Downs and was garbage both times. So maybe that's just one that just didn't take to Kentucky Downs. And I looked at that because I had this horse right on the cusp as well. I thought maybe that's just a throwaway, and I could completely just put a line because was bet down too, and just ran terrible and looked uncomfortable, dropped way back, just was wrong the whole time. And I was like, that's not that horse. So I think that one at that price, that last race just muddies it up a little bit.
I think you gotta be a little bit of a horse whisperer or a really, really deep dive video play watcher like I am to understand that Pete, I know it's going to sound weird if you're a casual horse racing fan. He looked lost out there. Like he was like bobbling. He just
he looked awful, uncomfortable the whole time. Although Maker, by the way, 2 for 33, blinkers on and turf routes in the past couple of years. So that move hasn't worked, but I don't really care that much because he was running well before that. So I'm looking just for a regaining of form more than like an equipment change making the difference.
And I even threw Domingo in there, maybe more underneath. I know he's 1 for 15, but his form is really dirtied up. If you look carefully, this is the kind of horse I love to play underneath because last year he was good at these longer distances and staked as a 3-year-old. Then as a 4-year-old, he's run 6 times, right? 4 of those times were at shorter distances that he wants. And the other 2 times when he wanted long, he was on the dirt. So this is a really dirtied up horse that could really blow up the late pick 5. I'm absolutely using Domingo. That's the kind of horse speed you got to look really carefully at the PPs.
I had that one as like a board type horse, sneaky board horse. Yeah,
you got Johnny's Rendezvous is going to show speed. Pete, I've bet this horse Valentinian, who's the favorite. This horse has almost 0 turf breeding. This looks like a complete stretch. And when I say a stretch, I don't mean stretch out in distance. I mean a reach. And I mean, this horse has shown nothing really that tells me he's a turf horse. He's a real plotter. And I understand why I believe Nick Tamero put him as the favorite. Like, I totally get it because the connections are insane and it's Eclipse.
And there's some names in the
there
past
are.
performances.
I mean, bracket buster, goal-oriented, class assist. I mean, he's faced horses, Pete, that if we're on dirt.
And I mean, it's a $1.5 million horse, so this was super well meant. But yeah, I agree.
But I don't see it at all, Pete. I know you've got him third. Like, I don't even think I can use him at all.
I almost put him third just because I was like, I have no idea what this horse is going to do. But I agree with you. Just on the face, I didn't see it. I don't see it. No. But I was like, am I just stupid and missing something? Because that's always possible. But I don't see it. Because I don't think it's not like he was poor on the dirt, but he wasn't reaching the heights that I assume they hoped. So they're like, hey, well, let's give the turf a try kind of thing.
Yeah. By the way, about 4 minutes ago when Pete said we talked about the pace situation, and he said, I think we'll look at the time form. That means Howard, switch over the damn time.
No,
form.
never,
so
never. We always get to it eventually.
Projector.
No, we always
I got it.
Eventually. I know we're getting there.
I know. I'm just kidding, Pete. All right, let's go on to race 8, Mr. Visco. Race 8 is right here. Whoops, sorry. Oh, I go ahead and put the banner. That's fine. This is optional allowance, $125,000 claimer. Wow. So if you got $125K of pennies in your pocket, you can buy a horse here. The purse is $130. It's 6 furlongs. This is for fillies and mares that are 3 years old, restricted. It's a field of 10. The morning line favorite is number 9, Gins Beach Road, a soft 3-1 morning line. There's, again, 4-1, 6-1s, 8-1. etc. I'm going 9-7. Pete is going 1-7. I have a relatively strong opinion here, Pete, and this is where you and I differ. I do not like the 1. You're gonna have to convince me. I know why you like the 1. I know why people are gonna like the 1. I'm just gonna respectfully disagree. We'll see who's right. Maybe Pete has his stilettos on, ready to dance all over my handicapping face with the Texas bred Calhoun.
I don't know if anyone needs to picture me in stilettos. I don't think that's a visual that anyone in the chat or watching or listening needs to have in their mind. But yeah, no, I get the fear with this one. This is got a little seconditis going on in his or her. Oops, let me take a sip there. In her.
Yep. Have a beverage, everyone.
I mean, I had stiletto on the mind. I was all confused, gender. I know what was happening. So this is one. Yeah, you don't like horses that keep running second. That's not ideal. Perfectly. A couple things I like though. I think there's pace in this one, and I think there's going to be some pace for this horse to run into. And what I like is the switch to IRAD. Not that that's saying anything complicated, but I think IRAD could fit this horse and the trip that I think she's going to get here. So I think that combination for me sort of takes away the fear of, oh man, this horse just keeps running second and maybe just isn't good enough to get the win. So I'm looking at it going, the combination of the extra pace, moved into this company last time and ran well against these horses as the favorite. So at least I know fits at this level. Now the switch to IRAD, I think maybe we can get a trip from that. And that's why I sort of leaned this one. But again, this is a relatively soft lean here. I thought this was a tough race as well.
So those are reasons why Pete likes this horse. Now let me throw a little poo-poo, as Pete likes to do once in a while.
I love it.
And here's the reasons I don't like Stilettos, Pete. I'll just rail off a few. 5-horse field last time. Yes, finished second. It came back slow, and she had absolutely no excuses other than she didn't break great. She did not break great. I'll give you that. And she's usually up close, but it was still, she had every chance to go by, in my opinion, and she never did. She's also coming back relatively quick in a few weeks. I'm not sure I like that. And other than that last race, he really has had trouble passing horses in general. I know she's 6 for 7 in the money. It's IRAD. They're going to take a lot of money. I'm just interested in a lot of other horses here. Those are my reasons. Take it or leave it, everyone. I think she might even get bet down from the 4-1. She lost to a 23-1 shot. I know she stumbled. She definitely stumbled.
The only thing
no
I
doubt
didn't
about
mind,
it. But she's got the rail again now, Pete. So I don't like her, but she can. I guess she can win. Just not
the loose lead last time, like the horse got loose on the lead.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen here. So at least that's the hope. That's my hope. We question the pace, and we always think it's going to do what we want, and then it doesn't. So that's the concern. But I think here there's enough pace, and you could see that there.
There's a lot of speed in here.
Yeah. So my thought is this time the pace will come back, even though like the last one, the pace was red coded from time form, but it was an easy, comfortable lead, even though it was fast. And I don't think we're going to get that. Now, maybe this horse isn't good enough to pass and win anyway, but at least I think the setup will be a little bit more favorable.
Yes, I would agree with that. I'm not sure that she's good enough, but
agree.
Pete, I like the 9 here, and I handicapped these races before the morning lines came out. I have a lot of work to do, of course, with school and personal life and other things. I was hoping the 9 wouldn't be favored. I do like this horse. This is a tough spot. There's no doubt about it. But her debut, this Quality Road filly, Gins Beach Road, for Mark Cassidy, cost $650 at Fasig-Tipton August 23. So this horse was always meant to be good. Faced a very good field first time out this past summer. Then 2 starts back, was on the turf. I'm not really sure why, but that was a very fast pace. Last time, she was able to rate comfortably. It doesn't maybe look like it on paper. I watched the replay, Pete, and when she broke her maiden at Churchill, and she was a legitimate like half length, a length off, and she really went by well, and I love the way she finished. Now, how good is that field on September 14th? Well, let's take a look at it. It was a big field. The only horse that's really come back is Quick to Charm, who paired up her buyer with the 70 and did run earlier last week and didn't run great as the favorite. I didn't like her. So this is definitely a step up against better competition. But I really like the fact, Pete, that this filly breaks outside of a lot of the other speed. I see a very similar trip. I like the fact that she's been given some time since that last race, while Stilettos has not had nearly as much time, actually a week less. But to me, a week means something. I just see Gins Beach Road tripping out. Is this the kind of horse that I'm going to, go all in a contest situation? Absolutely not. But there's just very few horses in this race, Pete, that have proven they could pass anyone at all. And so for that reason, I'm going to go with the 9. We both got the 2 in the mix. Lynn's Milky Way is interesting, and I'm going to use her. I don't know about that 4.5 furlong fig at Charlestown, but boy, I mean, she won that for fun and got a 90 buyer. and it is Arietta. She does look like she can pass Pete, and she
That's
does
what I
look like she's
liked.
going to get a good trip.
Yeah.
I actually like this horse a decent amount. And then Mega Mill, who I have, actually I don't have in third. I have the 7. I'm looking at Mega Mill as a horse that's coming out of Ragtime, and Ragtime is a serious animal. So Mega Mill is dropping down. I could have put her in top in this race.
We both have the
7.
7. That 7's a tough one, right? That's you're sort
Yeah.
of taking a leap of faith with the 7, but maybe there's just another, now we're second off a little touch of a layoff, and now we're just third start Lifetime. I mean,
Yeah.
if this one just improves, but again, the problem is you don't know what kind of trip this one's going to need. I mean, sat off a little bit last time, which I think would be ideal here instead of getting mixed up with the other speed. So yeah, I think this one's interesting just because of the price you're going to get.
This race is tricky, Pete, because the logical contenders by most people's standards, the 1 and the 3, are both coming back quick. And look, 3 weeks is relatively quick, and they have no works either. So it's almost as if the trainers looked at the condition book, Pete, and said, "Ooh, there's a race coming up that fits. Let's enter." I'm not saying they can't win. I'm just saying I prefer horses almost like the 2 or the 9 or the 7 that has had some time to fully prepare for this race with works in hand. This is a very fun race. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it about all 3 now. These are tough. I mean, you're not looking at like singles in this sequence here. This is a tough sequence, and I think you can go a different way. And I think this is one of those where even if you don't get like a double-digit winner, this is one where I think you can get 5-1, 4-1, and I think it could pay because you're going to get the money's going to be spread out. And you don't need the 12-1 shot to win a race to have a nice payout, because I think it's just going to be pretty even, and we're going to get to a race next, which sort of fits that bill as well.
Yeah, the top for this the race 8, I wrote finish, meaning I'm probably going thinner, but not easy. So like I'm going to take stands.
You have to somewhere,
but
right?
I don't feel comfortable is basically what I'm saying. All right, this race, here's the feature of the day, Pete. Let's bring it up right now. It's the QE2. No nitrogen. Of course, nitrogen lost a Jin in a thrilling finish last week as Torpedo Anna really threw out the anchor, and it actually might even be retired. We don't know yet, but it's a shame that what happened to Torpedo Anna. She's healthy apparently, but that was a very poor performance with no real excuse. But anyway, there's some very nice 3-year-olds here, and they're all domestic, Pete. So there's no, let me put you back on screen. No Chad Brown Monster, no Euro. That makes this race a little bit interesting and dicey to me. It's the QE2. They're going 1 1/8 miles. It's only for the 3-year-old girls. It's a field of 9 and a very good field. Basically, our best domestic 3-year-old filly turf horses, other than nitrogen, are here. And the morning line favorite, and I was surprised, Pete, that the morning line favorite is the number 2, Laura Lynn, instead of the number 9, Fionn. But Laura Lynn is the favorite. Motion Carmouche, she's 5 for 5. She's done absolutely nothing wrong. Let's see where we're going. I'm going 296. Pete's going 926. We're only at the same 3, slightly different order. Pete, you're going to go with Fionn, who is as likely probably as Laura Lynn here. I don't know who's going to be the favorite in this race, but Fionn has really gotten her act together. She is a very good closer who's got a big shot in this race.
Yeah. By the way, people are mentioning simmering. I think you meant there wasn't like a big time Euro.
I'm
sorry.
You're right. You're right about both those. I meant a higher quality Euro. Yes, simmering is in. My apologies. Go ahead, Pete.
But I knew what you meant, but I just wanted to clarify for the chat. Yeah, Fionn's just a sort of a personal favorite of mine as well. I really like this horse. I actually liked her 2 back to beat nitrogen, and that worked out pretty well. But she's in super form. She's fantastic. She's got Pratt again. Pratt it looks like he's super comfortable with this horse. He knows how to ride her. He knows how to, I mean, you see the last 3, he's won by a half, a nose, a half with her, and he just knows how to sort of get her to the wire, and she fights right down to the wire. The question with her for me is the pace doesn't look to be super hot up front. It looks to be pretty moderate. So is she going to be sort of stuck a little bit too far back? And again, trying to then run down quality horses. Like if you're trying to run down a horse like Laura Lynn or a Lush Lips or some of the other ones we'll talk about, that gets to be a little bit tougher if they're a little comfortable up front there. So I think that's my and the five. Yeah, who's the Opulent Restraint, who looks like the obvious leader. Yes, but I think there's some horses who would get to jump on Fionn and that are tougher, and they're going to be harder to run down, even if it's not Opulent Restraint that she has to run down. So that's my concern, but I just think she's one of the better horses in the country, obviously, especially for 3-year-old fillies on the turf. I just think she's high quality. She's in great form. She's got great connections. She has Pratt again. She's beaten others in this field. She beat Nitrogen. She's only lost to Nitrogen since her debut. So she's top quality. Not a lot negative you could say, except for the pace potential. And I think that's my only concern.
And if I'm a big fan of Flavia, and so are you. I don't think this horse will be like closer than she should, because you got to let these horses do what they do.
No, he's not going to force it.
I don't think you want to get this horse closer and take out, her kick. So this is basically a closer. And I got to say this, Pete, because it's important for the contest. I'm going to go full screen for us here. I think a lot of people in the contest are going to, use some combination of Laura Lynn and Fionn. That's going to be very scary because they're both off the pace. And Opulent Strength, the number 5 for Chad, who has not raced in a while, is going to be on the lead most likely. And I'll tell you what, you want to fade Chad Brown at like 7-2, 4-1, 9-2 with Rosario, and she's got quality. She's lost to Laura Lynn and Fionn in her last 3, but not by much. And the paces have been hot. I don't think this pace is going to be hot, and Rosario could be very tough to beat in the lane. This caused a problem for me, Pete, because I do think the 2 and 9 are better animals, but I am scared to death that Opulent Straight could wear.
Yeah, pace gets you sometimes, and I think it doesn't. It's not always who the best horse is, and it's not like this horse doesn't hold though. Has lost twice to Laura Lynn, lost to Fionn. And lost to Lush Lips, but has been there. So she's gonna be there again.
No doubt about it.
We're gonna need somebody to go maybe soften her up late or earlier in the stretch, maybe, and then have our horses come late and try and chase down horses who've worked a little bit harder. Oh, there we go, Matt McJunkin sitting in the airport.
First trip to Keeneland, Matt. You are gonna love it, Matt. I look forward to meeting you in person. Matt is a serious contest player. He's very good. He's very aggressive early in contests, like Matt Miller and myself and some other people. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Matt McJunkin near the top of the leaderboard on Saturday. Matt, safe travels. Good luck to you. Not too much luck, but you know what I mean.
Not too, maybe second, right? Second. Second behind
like
you, right?
Although it does, there are a lot of seats available for the AHC and BCBC. It pays down to like 10 or 12 seat speed, so you really don't have to be in the top 3 at all. But there is a prize pool as well. Anyway, Opulent Straight is going to be on the lead. It could be dangerous, and Lush Lips is going to be sitting right off, and she's
Let's talk Laura Lynn. You didn't really get into Laura Lynn much yet.
Let's talk about Laura Lynn. Right, that's my top pick. Pete, she's going to be closer to the lead, in my opinion, and by most people's opinion, than Fionn. And she's done nothing wrong. Now, this is a little bit of step up in class.
We disagreed on the show last time. I think I liked Laura Lynn. I think maybe I'm not sure you did last time, and I think she sort of.
No.
She exceeded expectations in that race, I think.
She did. I didn't like her last time. You're right. To win. I liked her underneath. And you're right. She did disprove me. She beat Opulent Strength 3 back. She beat Candy Quest in this race last 2 back. And then Saratoga Oaks. I mean, she got a really good trip, Pete. But, I mean, she did it very well. So she has not faced Fionn. That's really the only horse in here that she hasn't faced. But they've been very patient with this horse, Pete. She hasn't run since August 9th. I suppose you could say she could be a little bit rusty, but Grand Motion, Pete, had this one race circled on the calendar, and she's definitely, ready to run in this spot, you would think. So I'm not personally concerned with a guy like Grand Motion. The fact of the matter is she could jump up to 100 by her. I mean, we don't know. This could be a big step up. She's never been at Keeneland. Carmouche doesn't ride Keeneland very often. There's a few little minor holes you can poke, but she is very talented, and she's got a real nice kick.
Yeah, and I mean, at least Kendrick is really comfortable with this horse, and
For
obviously
sure.
he's ridden her to 4 victories out of her 5, so he knows what he's doing, at least with her, and she's great. I mean, what can you say? I just think I was super excited handicapping this race. I just think it's one of the better fields I think we've talked about, outside of some of the super big races. I think this
Yeah.
is just an easy field to look at and get excited about a lot of horses. But I think Laura Lynn is just fantastic, and I'm glad. Let's go to the 6 because I think the 6 is sneaky, man. I think this one could, if this one jumped up and won the race, it definitely wouldn't super surprise me in the least.
My
Aside
issue with
from again
her,
another closer, another
well,
deep
that's the
closer.
thing. Like, I like this horse a lot, and I don't think we're getting 12-1 on Candy Quest, the number 6. But she's a closer. We're saying she's going to outclose Laura Lynn and Fiona. I mean, it's possible, of course, but things are going to have to really work out for her, and I don't see a quick pace. Although 3 back, she was up close. So I think, Jose, this is a very trip-dependent race, Pete, and this is a jockey race. And so pick your favorite jockey, because I think there's not a lot separating these horses, even though the 2 and the 9 are the morning line favorites. This is going to be, a fun race. And we should mention the Euro, and I was wrong. Daisy Flyer, by the way, who won for us on our live Weekend Warriors show for Patrick and myself at 7-1. We were really super stoked to win that race in Lake George. She's up against it here. Simmering, I took a look at this horse closely because I look at every horse. She's just slow right now, Pete. Now maybe she can step up. There's no Lasix, of course. She's got to go left-handed. It is Saez, but she's faced really nice horses. I mean, look,
That's the thing.
Group
She's
one,
faced
Group
some
One.
big ones.
But
Yeah.
Pete, she's losing by 10 and 18, and I mean, although she was right there in the 1,000 guineas, but way too many questions for me. As our good friend David Lane would say, this might be a jolly for the connections. And if you're not familiar with what a jolly is, because
That's
I was
a trainer who hasn't been here, at least in the last 5 years, hasn't been
well,
here.
I didn't know what that was, and David told me 2 years ago when I get to know him. A jolly is sort of, they're here for a vacation. They're
Yeah,
here
a
for
little fun.
like a fun little S and giggles kind of trip.
Well,
They
this
don't
horse was
seriously
here.
think they can win. Although this is an invite race, Pete, so they were invited to come here.
Well, and was here for the first lady and scratched out of it, and then so it was in the first lady.
Well, was entered in the first lady.
And that's
I don't
what I
think
mean.
that
Was
was ever the
entered.
intention,
Yeah,
though.
but was
I
entered.
don't know. Right. I don't know, but I don't think that was ever the intention to go.
Yeah, probably you're right, but at least was entered in the first lady. But yeah, I didn't know what to do because again, sometimes we look at the race and go, "Oh, look, they faced this horse," and yeah, but they lost by 20. So is it really important that they faced Lake Victoria when Lake Victoria destroyed her? I don't know how you value that as much, but but has been. I mean, great. These weren't like weak Group 1s. These were big time races.
No.
So I mean, at least she was at least somewhat thought of.
That's one thing about Europe, Pete. I mean, there are weaker Group 1s than others, but when there's so many really good horses in Europe with different countries, the Group 1s are Group 1s. I mean, in general, those are serious races, unlike some of our grade 1s that just don't deserve to be grade 1s. Anyway, Pete, the last race I have written down, I'm not going to show you my note card here. I have written down impossible with 3 exclamation points. And for me to say that, that's something else. So the live money contest comes on to this last race, Pete. Oh boy. Anyone who hits this race absolutely deserves it. Let's bring it up on screen right now. It is race 10. It's a starter allowance for $50K, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, 3-year-olds and up. It's a big field of 12. Look at these morning lines. Again, the morning line favorite is a David Jacobson, 4-1. You got a 9-2. You got a 6-1. 8-1, 8-1, 8-1, 10-1, 12-1. Oh my goodness. And there's a 20-1 shot in Thrilla, the number 5, Pete. I don't even think Thrilla is impossible. And this horse is 20-1. But anyway, let's show our picks and where we're going to go in a very difficult.
There's no way we're close on this one. Okay, we're not even have
close.
The same 3 in any of them. Okay, good.
6 different horses. I'm going 8, 9, 12. You're going 3, 1, 2. Good night, everyone. Good luck with the last race. We can talk for half an hour. I promise we will not. Pete, let's go to you. You're going to Dive Bomber. Very logical. The number 3, Aaron Shorter, Mr. Arietta, who's won already at Keeneland this meet. 9-2 morning line. Talk about Dive Bomber, the 3.
By the way, you want to laugh. All my notes on this horse aren't very good. And when I read it, I'm like, why do I like this horse? I don't understand it. So this horse drops down in the last one to get another win after breaking the maiden back in 24. Was on a sloppy track, which this horse seems to like, is 2 for 2 in the money of 442 Tomlinson. So it could have been the wet track. It was a little bit weaker competition there. I think the pace sort of got me. I was like, I think this horse should run the right trip potentially, to where if this one gets the trip that I expect, and if we get the pace up front, which I keep saying tonight, if we get the pace, then I think at least this one's going to be in the position. Now, whether he's good enough, thank you, Katie, whether he's good enough to take advantage of that sort of stepping back up, or it's not like a huge step, but it's still a step back up. That's my concern. But Aaron Shorter, 3 for 57, first after the claim. He's 2 for 90 in 2025. Arietta 0 for 8 in the money at the meet so far. So I'm looking at it going, there's a lot of negatives, but I think in a race where I could probably play 5 or 6 horses minimum easy, this is one that I think from a trip standpoint, I think at least to me looks somewhat advantageous.
I mean, I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 9 horses that logically can win this race. So
yeah,
I'm not going to poo-poo anything you have to say, Pete.
Yeah, I only cut 3, so I think I have the same number as you. I only cut 3. Who'd you cut? Who were your
You know what's funny is I'm looking at this. I don't have the 1 at all. You got the 1.
Oh, you got the 1 out? Okay, yeah.
I don't even have the 1. You got the 1 second.
I'll give you my case when we get to it.
No, go ahead. Talk about Did It Dialed. This is a horse that I'm tossing in an 11-horse field, and you're using it second.
So the pace scares me here because this one could be a piece of it. So I'm looking at it going, okay, that last race, again, they break the maiden, 2 races on dirt. The horse improves a ton second out. Then they say, well, let's put it on the turf at Kentucky Downs. Not sure that was the best move. So I look at that and go, is that just a race that I can completely wipe off? And if I was looking at this horse and said, okay, coming off that, a decent debut and then a nice maiden special weight win, where from a figure standpoint, again, was sort of sitting off a slow pace, so it wasn't the toughest trip or anything, but still a nice improvement there. If that last race didn't exist, you might look at this horse and then you look at the works. You get back on the dirt, and now the works, first of 45, 47, first of 20 a minute, last one. Maybe just being back on the dirt is what this horse wants to do. And now we're getting him back there. And if we can move forward off that second race and completely ignoring that last one, this horse is right at the top of this field, at least in terms of figures and such. So I look at it and go, maybe we're getting some value just because that last race wasn't even the horse's fault. It was just a bad decision to put a horse on the turf at Kentucky Downs when maybe it's just clearly a dirt horse.
Yeah, I hear you. The time form's got her in last. I have a hard time, him in last. I have a hard time believing this horse will be last, but anyway, I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Well, the horse was when he was close to lead Pete, that was going a mile. So
it was.
Anyway,
yeah, no, it was.
I don't like Did It Dialed. Pete thinks that 1 is interesting. Again, I'm not going to criticize Pete's pick at all here. It's a complete wide open race. We saw the pace situation. There's a lot of speed here, Pete.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of speed in theory, I'm going to go with another horse that looks dirty up on paper, the number 8 Pineland, who you're like, Howard, the horse is 1 for 12. I don't like 1 for 12s. You know what? I don't like 1 for 12s either. But the last 3 were on turf, Pete. And when this horse was on dirt, it was at Oaklawn, which tends to be a speed favoring track with slow paces. There really hasn't been a situation where the number 8 Pineland has been sprinting on a fair racetrack with a lot of speed in it on the dirt. So I think this horse is a little bit dirtied up, to be very honest with you. I'm not sure he can win. It's a very tough field, but at 10-1 with Rosario coming from the clouds in a race that's wide open, I'm going to give Pineland a look. And I think the more logical horse.
I had him as a sneaky board horse, by the way, too.
Okay.
That was my note on that one. I sort of was with you on that one.
Count the Brave, to me, the 9 is probably the horse to beat. But, again, it looks like he's more of a need the lead type. If he doesn't break or there's a ton of early speed or whatever, Count the Brave might be in trouble. But it's Jacobson. He's got numbers that fits. He breaks a little bit to the outside. He's going to stalk the speed. If the number 9, Count the Brave, breaks, Pete, I think he's going to be very dangerous in this spot, but I wouldn't take too low a price on him. The other one I
The
want to
12,
mention.
wait, real quick, the 12 scared me with the 9. If the 12 goes, then it's not the 9 sort of sitting off. It's the 9 sitting in between. That was my only thing. If the 12 doesn't go, though, I think the 9 could get a nice sort of just sit off trip there.
Well, don't be fooled, Pete, because the 12 has been in mile 7 furlong. The 12 is 102 early speed fig, and the 9 is 108. So
Yeah.
they're not that far off, but just my gut tells me the 9 is going to be super aggressive. And
That's
the
what
12
I would
doesn't
hope.
need to be as aggressive because he can sort of break on the outside and just stalk and sort of look to his left and see what happens. But
Yeah.
the reason why I like the 12 little Pete, Sinister Smile, and by the way, Paul Conlon said that Lindsay's been sending out live runners. That's the trainer of the 8. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Had 2 wins today. Interesting. The reason I like the 12, Pete, is because this is one of the horses that's not been facing similar competition as some of these others. I mean, look, Big Boat, who just ran well today, actually finished, I think, second or third in a tough race. Big Truz, guns loaded. I mean, this 12, I know he looks a little bit slower with the figs, but he's been facing much tougher horses, in my opinion. And like you said, he can stalk the speed and doesn't need the lead. So I'm going with a speed, a closer, a stalker. I just don't love the inside horses. I could be completely wrong here, Pete. You may be right. This is an absolutely wide open and very tough way to close out the card.
My one thing on the 12 that concerned me, which I had a little knock, the post isn't great either, but I don't like since the claim, even just from the races have been tougher, yes, but even just from like a figure standpoint, there's been a regression end result where it's not just that loss to high quality horses, but hasn't even run that well. That was my biggest concern with this one. So that sort of scared me. And Morales, by the way, I don't know anything happened today. You see another 0 for 13 in the money there. So working from the 12 hole in a tough spot, that all scared me. But again, I'm not poo-pooing any horse in this race.
Nope.
I think they're all, I think it's pretty much, we haven't even talked about I didn't think the 10 Good Lord was out of the question. I didn't think there was one other. Was it the 4 maybe? Yeah, Air of Defiance, I thought was even sneaky. Another one who's first off the claim. I was like, you could go 6, 7, 8 deep in this one easy. Oh, the 2.
The 2 is my next horse. The George Weaver off the claim is dangerous as hell with IRAD. I mean, this horse can jump up for sure.
Riding through the claim too. I like that. We like when the jock sticks through the claim like that, and IRAD's riding back again.
Pete, I mean, you want to talk about a way to close out a pick 5. If you got the 5 who's going to make the pick 5 pay a ton, look really carefully at Thrilla. He's got numbers last year that absolutely fit. He's a very fast horse. He went 44 and change last time and obviously fell apart. First off, a claim for Dale Romans. I mean, he doesn't look like he fits, but again, he's got numbers. He has run numbers that have fit, Pete. So anyway, this is
I had the same
absolutely impossible race.
This one. This is why you gotta maybe the idea is just say in the QE2, you just pick one and you single in the QE2 and then just spread like hell around it. Because the good thing about the QE2, they're great horses. So it's not like, I don't think what you think. I don't think anybody's going to get bet down super low in the QE2. So I think that money's going to be spread out a bit too. So I think if you could pick that one and then the rest just sort of, cross your fingers and hope and maybe catch a few prices, I think you can get paid here and say, screw it, I'm going to go deep in these other legs.
It's a very difficult late pick 5. I suppose the opening leg where we think maybe 5 and 8 only, but look, we mentioned the 3 and the 7. I mean, this sequence is very difficult and going to pay for sure. Let's take a look at where we're going here with our best bets. Pete is first. He's going to go to race 6. That is the opening leg of this pick 5. He's going to go with One Magic Filly, a win bet, and then race 8, he's going to play a double, the 1 and 2 into the 2 favorites in the QE2.
Yeah, I like the One Magic Philly play just because I think at least we're getting a little bit of a price there. So if we can beat the favorite, I'll take that. And then I know the one that we don't fully agree on, but I have Stilettos and Lynn's Milky Way, and I went right into basically just into the 2 horses I like, Laura Lynn, and nothing too out of left field, Laura Lynn and Fiona. So keeping it pretty simple. Yeah, I thought it was too
Yep.
tough. I couldn't even come up with like best bets that I like because I was like, man, I like it more from a horizontal standpoint. If you were sort of spreading a bit, but not where
Yeah.
I could pinpoint and say I have like really super high level best bets on a win end, at least.
No doubt. It's going to be difficult. I got to say, it's not my best bet that I've thrown out there, but I'm going to take a stand a little bit with the 9 in race 8, and the name escapes me now.
Gins
Pete,
Beach Road.
yeah, I like the visual a lot, Pete. I know there's other speed in there. I just like the fact that this horse can sit off, and like if the horse can sit off effectively like last time and just sit off a little bit, I really like the way this horse finished. I think there's more there. Is she like a single or like a sure thing? Absolutely not. But if I'm correct, and that one is 3-1 morning line, then I would spread quite a bit in the QE2. I know Laurelyn and Fiona are the best, but look, I Lush Lips could win. It wouldn't shock me. Up in the straight is scary as hell for Chad on the lead. Although Pete, this is not New York. I hate to go back to the QE2, but man, I just have a very hard time believing they're gonna let the 5 just like, the Rosario go like 24 and 49 to the half in a grade 1 race at Keeneland. I'm not saying someone's gonna like press her, but someone's gonna be like a length off. Like and not only that, Keeneland's not the easiest turf course to wire field either. So that stretch is longer than people think. So I don't know. But anyway, I've got the 6 in there also, and then I got the 9. So if I'm right about the 9 in race 8, I would play a $10 double there, and just hope to catch a price on that particular bet. For sure. And I'll tell you from a contest perspective, Pete, as we go, I guess I didn't get a text from Paul, so I think he's probably caught up.
He's boozing away. We don't want to interrupt the booze.
He probably forgot about the show completely.
I would hope so. I hope he does. I hope he's having enough fun that he forgot about us.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a text from good friend Frank Mustari, who won today with a nice sprinter at Keeneland. But anyway, that he has partial ownership for Mr. Ravelli, who's pretty good with turf sprinters.
He does okay.
But as we go full screen here, Pete, again, anyone playing live money contest, good luck. And it's very tricky this year. This is the one, of course, that, actually, Paul won the spring version of the contest 2 years ago. But Pete, 4 of the first 5 races are for 2-year-olds. They're not all maidens, but they are for 2-year-olds. And then the late pick 5, which we just covered, does have experienced horses, but I thought 3 of the 5 are very difficult. I don't think the QE2 is that easy. And I guess you could say race 6 is easy, but it's an 8-horse field. And unless you think the 8-horse is just going to, Hillarito is just going to roll to the lead and it's over, this is a very difficult sequence and a very tricky sequence of races from a contest perspective too.
No, definitely. I guess it's good and bad. It's hard when you're trying to decide sort of where, and this is if you want to explain to everyone, I assume it's a live money. Is there
live money?
Is it any race? You don't have to bet any amount in certain races. What's the format?
So the format is it's a $3,500 entrance fee. I would consider this one of the majors. The Keeneland, the Grade 1 Gamble in the spring and the Keeneland Fall contest. It's one of the majors, along with the Pegasus in terms of live money. The Pegasus, the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge, obviously the BCBC. It's $3,500 entry. 1,000 goes to the prize pool, so it's $2,500 live money, Pete. And the minimums are $400. It's not a small amount. $400 in at least 5 races.
At
so
least
you
5,
do have to bet $400 in at least 5 races. And
now you could
so
bet
many
400
wide open fields,
right?
You're going to have to.
You could do whatever you want with the money, right? Not whatever you want, but you can. Yeah, but there are.
Yes, you have to bet. You have to bet your entire $2,500. But
yeah. Okay.
It's going to be very interesting to see where people take stands, because I got to tell you, the later part of these races, Pete, if you want to take a stand with some horses, good luck, man, because you're going to see a lot of prices. When I say prices, I don't mean $30 horses. I mean, like, vertically, these exactas and tries have to pay because these fields are so large and wide open in general.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one where if you like the 9, at some point you're just going to have that 9 in the 8th. You're going to have to just say, screw it. Is that the horse that I'm going to sort of stake my tournament life on at some point? I mean, at some point the decision has to be made if you're trying to win. But like you said, there are multiple seats available, right? So that's where the
There
strategy
are.
comes into play. It's, do I go for the win, or am I just trying to reach a certain prize level? I guess that's always the math you have to
There
do.
is a prize pool. The top 5 or 6 get cash. Don't quote me on this because it depends how many entries they're going to
Sure.
be, so we don't actually know. But there's going to be somewhere around 6. The top 6 are going to get an NHC and a BCBC,
Oh,
I
nice.
believe, also, Pete. And then like 7, 8, 9, 10 are going to get an NHC, and like 11, 12, 13 are going to get a Kentucky Downs, a Kentucky Derby betting challenge, which is the live money tournament. That's,
Yeah.
I think, a $5,000 buy-in on Kentucky Derby Day. So we hope everyone out there is going to crush at Keeneland on Saturday, but it is going to be a challenge. We have no rant, but Pete, since we have a minute or two here, any final thoughts on this weekend? Anything you want to share personally with anyone in your world? Any other races you're looking forward to this weekend across the country?
I mean, not from a racing standpoint. We slow down a bit. I mean, this is a huge race we have at this card, but it slows down. We have the Breeders' Cup coming in a few weeks. I won't see you guys for 2 weeks. I'm going on vacation. We're going to Universal Orlando. I have me and the family, and my friend Mike and his family. So I won't see you guys. So
I'll be all right.
that trip is exciting. My son, I don't think I mentioned this. My son he is doing his show at school, and he is playing Maui in Moana for any Disney fans
Ooh,
there. So
cool.
he was pretty excited that he got one of the lead roles in that. So he is currently in rehearsals for that. So that is very exciting.
Wow.
So we got a lot of stuff going on. My little doggie is going back into surgery in 3 weeks. She
Uh,
tore her second ACL. So now
oh,
so apparently what happens is when you have one, you overcompensate, or they
really?
overcompensate on the other. So she just fully healed from the right one. Now her left one is torn. So she's going into surgery.
Wow.
So we have another few months of mending her back to health. But hopefully after that, knock
Sorry
on
to hear
wood,
that.
we are done, and she will be
Okay.
bionic, I hope. And
All right.
she will be Kentucky Derby ready when we come, Kentucky Derby season ready when we get to February or so, February or March.
I don't want to lose our listeners going on tangents, but when the dogs have ACL surgery, they get those like black brace with the plastic on the
No,
side.
what's funny? They
Is
don't.
it differently constructed for dogs? I honestly don't know.
Well,
I
no,
honestly don't
what's
know.
funny? If you go on like Amazon, you can buy those for but apparently they don't work. They're useless. So they actually could
Really?
make it worse. But what you
Okay.
do get is you get like this little sleeve, so they don't chew at they don't
Right,
chew
right.
at it, which they tend
No
to do. I,
cone. No cone around the knee.
we don't they give you the cone, but it was so big she was bouncing around the house. We're like, you know what, let's screw the cone. I like Tom's comment here, by the way. Sounds like Pete's dog can play for my hey Tom, I'm a Charger fan, and our offensive line seems to be in the same condition as the Niners. So yeah,
Interesting.
we're in the same boat. So yeah,
All right,
that's a
well,
lot of non-horse racing stuff, but
that's right.
a
Well,
lot going
shout out to
on in
your
the
dog.
Visco household.
I
Yeah.
hope your dog feels better. We'll miss you, but enjoy the
Yeah,
vacation,
good
Pete.
luck in
And
the contest, and on your, have a great time, and
thank
great,
you.
wish the Dormans the best for me on
Yeah.
my behalf. That everything. I think it's going to be a fantastic. I mean, I say it's a fantastic weekend for you guys. Obviously, it's a bittersweet ceremony, but it should be a beautiful time. And
Yeah, this is more sweet than bitter.
I
I
think
will say,
so.
Pete,
Yeah,
because um, it's been a little time that the Dorans have been able to sort of collect themselves and realize that Cody's no longer with them. But this is more of a celebration because it's
yeah,
something that anyone can go to the Kentucky Horse Park, Pete, and go up and touch the statue. And the way that they have the statue made, as you know, Cody. Cody's Wish is not running. He's actually in the same position that he was when he met Cody Dorman, sort of with his head down, neck bowed. So anyone who's in a wheelchair, has a disability, can go up and actually
yeah.
touch and pet Cody's Wish, of course the
The
statue.
statue
So
of it. Yes.
yeah, it's going to be cool, and I'm glad that I'm going to be there to help represent the HHH Racing Podcast. You're going to be there, Keelan, by the way. Paul's going to be there. Kyle Roscoe is going to be there. Noah Meyer, of course, is going to be there. a lot of other extended.
Is Kyle there
family.
already? Was he?
Kyle's
He's
there already.
there already,
with
right?
Emma.
Yeah.
Kyle's
I thought
there
I saw a video from him today. Yeah, should be.
Yeah.
It should be good. You got
So
all the guys there. Take
it's
some pictures so we can post them up on the website so everybody can take a look at everything.
And you said the plaque's already on the website. Is that right?
Yes, the plaque is on the.
Awesome.
Like I said, go to the Cody Dorman. It's pretty easy to find. It's right on the top menu, and you can see the plaque. You could see just again if you want to go back and revisit some of the podcasts we did with the family. Cody was on. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Articles from Paul, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, Pete, great job as always. Really appreciate it. Even though Paul wasn't on the show, we'll give him props
anyway.
For our absent Paul Halloran and friend and co-host Pete Visco is going to be on a well-deserved short vacay, but he'll be back for all the Breeders' Cup preview stuff because we have a lot to discuss. This has been your host, Howard Kravitz. What is this, episode 431? I believe I had it written down, and I don't remember. And now I'm messing up the ending.
A lot.
Hold on. Well, we got to say
431. It's in the. It's on the top of our page there. Yep.
There it is. Episode 431 of Picks and Ponies. Good luck to everyone at Keeneland and crush your bets this Saturday. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.